right, now, starting from that point, you know, Edith was telling us that she rates society at 7 out of 10 in terms to the fulfillment of the societal obligations to the young people. What is your score for society in your own perspective?
I would score the society to 5
out of 10.
Yeah. Yes, I would score it 5.
Okay, and you already know sometimes I choose to be pessimistic, just like now.
Yeah.
That's an average mark.
Yeah, yeah.
Why the -5?
The -5. It is just because that so many failures of the community, they put it to the youth. Why? The failures of the community are disrupting the youth. For example, I'll give an example of you would like to become a pilot. So many students, so many children have been growing up to become pilots. But rather, on an average, or when you put it on a scale of 10, it is 1% that one becomes a pilot. Why? It is because of the failures of the community. They have failed to bring up opportunities of having planes in the country. So when you have a dream of becoming a pilot, rather, they will say, how will you pilot a plane when you have no plane, or we have only 2 planes, rather? But who told you that you are going to be a pilot in Uganda? You can be a pilot in UK. You can be a pilot in USA. You can be a pilot in Russia, you understand? So if the community is failing, they are going to come and put their blame on you. You cannot become a pilot.
So do you want to, in simple terms, allege that sometimes the community limits the dreams from young people?
Exactly.
And maybe if we should start with a definition of what you look at a community as. What is community to you? How do you define community?
The community, I will define it in different aspects. That is, the community is comprised of schools, churches, the community where we live, the government, and I will say the mosques. So many aspects to come together to make up a community.
Now, in the context of demotivating young people, what definition do you take for a community?
Okay, demotivating young people. For example, excuse me for that. For example, in schools, demotivating in schools. Though it's not that high, but in schools, for example, when you want to become an engineer, it is an automatic case. You have to pass physics and mathematics. But when you fail them, you don't have any hope of becoming an engineer. That's one way of demotivating them. Rather, if at all they nurtured the passions of these youngsters from childhood, however much they haven't reached the level of attaining physics. For example, if at all you want to become an engineer, and you're being nurtured right from P1, becoming an engineer. I want to become an engineer. I want to become an engineer. By the time you reach secondary level, where you get exposed to physics, mathematics, because you have the zeal that drives you to your passion, you're ready to tackle anything.
That's very nice. Before you go to wisdom, I want to understand this from you as well. What happens if you, because I know you're going to be an adult sometime to come, and then you're going to have a child, definitely.
Yeah, right.
What happens if your child wants to be something and you think as a parent that they don't have what it takes to be what they want to be? Would you rather give them this empty, fluffy push, or would you see them and you know what? I want to be a pilot, but you see your score for science is not so good. Maybe you could look at this. Would you sit your child, because in your submission, I don't know if I get this wrong, I think you are trying to say that sometimes all the community does to demotivate and discourage you.
Yeah.
What happens if the discouragement that they're giving is actually positive? Trying to help you look at things ahead of time. You're weak in this area and you can't just hit that. Maybe try this. Would you take that as criticism or positive console?
According to me, I would take it as criticism. Why? I will give you an example of the Wright brothers. Never did they attend secondary school, but they were the one who invented airplanes that we see today. You get? I will give you Bill Gates. Never did he finish up university, but he invented Windows that we use on most of the computers that we use. I want you to imagine if I told you were criticized, you didn't finish up high school, you didn't finish up elementary. Will they become something that they are that are memorable till now? They won't.
Wow, Arnold, I'm loving your conversation, and trust me, I want to ask so many questions. But when I get back, I want you to, I should start with getting to understand if you have any examples from Uganda, in the context of Uganda. Then let me switch to wisdom. Wisdom, what is your definition for a young person, if somebody is really young?
A young person can be a person who is not yet matured. Like, yes, they have some understanding, but it's not to the brim that they can do something by their own. They can start up their own projects. So I think a young person is someone who has not yet developed maturely.
May we use may we make use of maybe numbers that in terms of age, if you could label ages, which bracket does someone should someone must belong to for them to be young people, in your own perspective?
In my own perspective, a young person can be between the age of 13 then to maybe 20 or 21 years.
I think I have a similar definition for that. Must the society have any expectations from young people, just like young people do have from society? Must the society also expect some things from young people?
Yeah, I think so. The society usually has very many expectations from the young people. Like, they usually expect the young people to be God-fearing, just as the Bible says that us young children should learn from our parents. So the society expects young children to be God-fearing, to do the will of God. It expects the young people to be responsible, to be hardworking, to be respectful, so that they can succeed in life.
Thank you so much. Do you think the young people have moved any mileage in fulfilling these expectations from society? And at what percentage out of 10, out of 100, at what percentage?
Out of 100?
Because you're also a young person. Are you making any strides, any steps towards fulfilling this?
Yeah. I may think out of 100, it can be maybe 50%, because the society sometimes tries to help the young people. So I think that helps them build themselves up, and it helps them reach the 50%, which I perceive.
Being a young person, I know you associate with so many people of your age, you speak to them. Where have the young people failed society?
The young people have failed the society.
Are there some things you think they should be doing and they're not doing?
Yeah. Like, as you can see today, social media has brought a very negative impact on the lives of young people. At times, and most times, it is good, but there is a way the young people use it that shows that it's not so good to be used there. But as long as these young people can get the right measures of using the social media, then it can be good to use, it can be then free to use, but there is a way they use it that is beyond the limits, and that makes the society that makes the society regretting why the social media came. Some people should, and I think
Don't say life because